What's going on, Canes family? How's everybody doing? Well, we're in it. We're in the thick of the off season right now. The spring game, spring practice, and all that stuff is in the rearview mirror. We're now 2 weeks removed from that, so we're in it now. They call the dog days of summer because it's long, it gets boring. We're in the part where it's we got a ways to go before the season starts, but we'll have some stuff to talk about. We got the draft actually starting tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be the first round of the draft. We got some portal news because there's always portal news in this day in college football. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. I will have hopefully my guest joining me here in a few minutes, but I just thought I'd let you guys fill up the chat before I bring him on. But we're in late April. The draft is tomorrow. What are some of your guys' predictions? Please let me know in the comments. What are some of you guys' predictions for some of our fellow Canes that are entering this draft? And Greg Bush, the most loyal Canes fan. He's on every channel, every show. Thank you very much, Greg. Much appreciated. Wednesday night's one of the best nights, especially on I don't know if you caught the intro, the new logo, the YouTube network. Proud member of that. So we got a doubleheader tonight. We got me till about 8:30, and then we got Canes Insight later tonight. As we let the chat fill up a little bit. But as I was saying, when was the last time? I was just thinking this before I came on. What was the last time we had like this good of a draft class coming out? And it's certainly a good sign of things moving in the right direction. Not where we want to be yet. Randy Noel, what's up, man? Love your show. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Certainly not where we want to be yet, but when was the last time we had a draft like this where we got a couple of almost sure first rounders, maybe a second or, maybe a second rounder, maybe a couple of third rounders, maybe a couple late rounders. It's pretty spread out, but we got two almost for sure first round picks in this year's draft. I can't remember the last time we had that, like that confident going into the draft. What's up, Demetrius? How's everything, man? So I definitely wanted to talk a little bit about that, talk a little draft. The portal, some news, we're seeing some rumors on the Twitter that one of our targets, Henry To'oTo'o, he's starting to get some crystal balls. I think just one so far, maybe two, to Ohio State. So, take that how you want to take it. Crystal balls are kind of hit or miss, but from what I've seen on Twitter, that seems to be the prevailing rumor that he is going to Ohio State. He's going to Columbus. That would suck if we don't land him because we now know we likely will not be getting Juwan Mitchell from Texas. My thoughts exactly. I hope, I hope they're just that. I hope they're just rumors. Again, this is just what I've seen a couple tweets about. He did get a crystal ball. You can look this up. He got a crystal ball to Ohio State, which means, likely not going to Alabama. I know there's that rule where they can't transfer. Actually, shame on me. I should know this. I found this out today. That if you transfer inside your division in the SEC, you have to sit out a year. And so maybe he's not going to Alabama. He could be going to Ohio State. I hope we pull a Navonte Williams. I hope he changes last minute. And let me put that on silent. I hope he changes last minute, comes to the U. But man, I'm not sure. I don't know. I'm not feeling confident about that one. Will we still get a portal linebacker? We'll see. We should get somebody. You got to fill that spot with a veteran. Any recruiting news? Aside from what I'm saying right now in the linebacker situation, not a whole lot just yet. I mean, let's see. Let me go through the memory bank. What have I seen in the last couple of days? I know there's been good stuff about Wesley the Saint that I've been seeing on the Twitter. That's obviously our top high school linebacker prospect that we're going after. Him and Omar Graham, I think, would be the top two. And hearing some, let's just say I like where we stand with him. I like where we stand with Omar Graham. So the future is bright at linebacker. I don't know about this year necessarily, but the future is bright. We're certainly about to load up on talent. And of course, in June, you got the barbecue, you got all these visits coming June 1st, June 11th. It's about to get really busy. It's going to get good. So you are going to see that avalanche that we've been saying since Ja'Cory Brown committed. It's coming. Just be patient. Give it another month. I know a month in these days with social media, that's an eternity, but give it a minute. I see N'Kosi Perry is joining Willie Taggart. Yes, I did see that. N'Kosi Perry is going. Is that official? N'Kosi Perry to FAU? Let's check that out really quick. N'Kosi Perry. Yep, transferring to FAU. Yeah, that is official. I saw something about that earlier, but yeah, he is transferring. You know what? Good for him, man. I appreciated what N'Kosi Perry did for us. I was always a N'Kosi Perry fan. He didn't quite reach his ceiling, but you know what? I think that's a great fit for him. Hopefully he goes and eats for a year. Maybe the league will take a look at him. He certainly has the talent. What's up with the USC linebacker in the portal? Can he be a take? He certainly is a take, in my opinion. Yeah, man. I that's you're referring to Pale Nyote. I know he's the other guy that's been rumored that we were interested in. I'm not hearing anything new there, but man, he's not a guy I would turn away. That's for sure. That he would be a take for sure. Love what I'm hearing on the CDs. Yeah, this is a deep cornerback class for sure in the state of Florida. This is kind of a weird recruiting year for South Florida because the skill positions, like usually wide receiver, running back, it's just loaded every year out of South Florida, right? Next year's will be a great example of that, 2023. But 2022, not a lot of guys. But at corner's different. It's very deep. And there's certain guys like, Jacoby Spells. Let's see who else. Help me out in the chat. Blanking on names right now. You got Kamari Rogers. You got, obviously Earl Little Jr. still hanging out there. You got a bunch of guys that if we get any combination of 3 or 4 guys, I'm very happy with it because we've got a lot of options. T2Y made a video about it. I will have to check that out. I was very busy. I just got off of work not too long ago. Off the secret day job, as Cam Underwood would say. Agreed. He went there. He'll do well. That he'll do well there. I think that's what you meant, Randy. Yeah, I agree. Kane, Idaho. We all got to root for Perry. Listen, some people won't. That's just how it is. But I think I'm certainly rooting for N'Kosi Perry. I hope he does very well there. I hope he torches every team they play. And the NFL, I hope they kick the tires on him because, again, with the right coach, he's got a chance to maybe be a backup in the NFL for a few years. He's got the athleticism, certainly. Speaking of the draft, I wanted to touch on that because, it's week of and it's a hot topic. We got, 5 or 6 guys going in the draft this year? Like I was saying before, it's been a long time since we have this much quality going into the draft. The last time we had a first-round pick was the 2017 draft with David Njoku. And the last time we had multiple first-rounders was the 2015 draft, if I'm not mistaken. That would be the one where we had Philip Dorsett and Eric Flowers. It's been, and before that, it's been sparse, to say the least. I mean, there was a year, I don't know if you guys remember this, I think it was the 2008, 2009 draft where we had one guy drafted. It was Spencer Atkins in the 6th round. Yeah. No offense to Spencer Atkins. He was a good player, but it was crickets. It was very bad. Me too. He was a true Kane. Absolutely, man. Some dramatic moments. He certainly played his ass off. Appreciated his contribution. Wasn't always the most disciplined young man early on. I think that hurt him. Also, Mark Richt not being able to make up his mind, but whatever. We won't touch on that. Certainly will be rooting for him. Absolutely. But But yeah, love seeing the improved prospects coming out, and it should be a fun draft to watch. I'm a huge Dolphins fan, so obviously I'm going to be watching that first to see who they take. But since I was a kid, I've always had another eye on, okay, what Canes are getting drafted where. I remember when I wanted the Dolphins to draft Santana Moss, he almost fell to us, and the freaking Jets grabbed him right before our pick. That was in the 01 draft. And give me 1 second, ladies and gentlemen. Our super secret special guest has just arrived. He's in the waiting room right now. Give me a second. Let's add him in.
Hey, what's going on?
What's going on?
What's going on, man? What's going on, Canes family? What up?
Not much. Everything's good. How you doing, man? How's your day been?
It's been pretty good. Can't complain.
Awesome, man.
So what we getting into tonight?
Well, the draft is the hot topic because, it's tomorrow. So I thought we'd, talk a little bit of draft. Obviously, there's some portal news. We'll get into that in a second. But yeah, man, we were just talking a little. By the way, I don't think I ever asked. What do you have an NFL team?
The land. Oh man, I was gonna say St. Louis because I'm so used to it, but LA Rams.
The LA Rams. Gotcha. Yeah. Where are they picking in the first round?
I really haven't been paying attention, to be honest with you. But last year I did cover, and I think our first pick was Cam Akers, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, yeah. It turned out
Florida State.
Yeah. As much as we probably didn't like him when he was there, he turned out to be a solid player.
Yeah, as soon as they said Cam Akers to the Rams, I was like, well, I guess I'm a Cam Akers fan now. Can't root for him to mess up on my own team.
Exactly. Yeah, man.
What's your team, though? I'm probably guessing them Dolphins.
Yeah, I'm a huge Dolphins fan because I'm down here in Miami. I grew up a Dolphin fan. And we got 2 first rounders. So I'm hoping, I'm hoping we get. I know a lot of Canes. This is blasphemy. I kind of secretly hope Kyle Pitts does fall to us, to be honest with you.
I mean, a lot of people not too happy about Kyle Pitts, comparing him to Girvin Jordan and all, but you got to give it up to him, man. The guy is a phenomenal talent at tight end.
Phenomenal. And he's not just a tight end. He could play receiver. You can move him wherever you want. He would be the best player available at that pick for sure.
Yeah, and I think his 40 time was was it a 4.4?
Like 4.46, which, by the way, he's 6'6", 240, so that's just freakish stuff.
Yeah, I was looking at Brevin's compared to his. I mean, it's not even close. It's not even close. But
no, yeah, no, Brevin, obviously he's a little undersized, but he gets yak, man. I noticed Brevin every time he has the ball in his hand. The first couple tackles, they usually don't bring him down.
Yeah, number 1 tight end when it comes to that stats.
Right, number 1 in yak.
And that's a big deal. Yeah, that's a big deal for NFL talent because, that first initial tackle could determine whether you get a first down or maybe 3 or 4 yards.
Absolutely. Yeah, see, 904K, and we're talking Dolphins. I'm a Dolphins fan, but T2Y just said he's an LA Rams fan. Not but I am a huge Dolphins fan. Yes, so if you have a Dolphins question, please feel free to throw it out there.
I was actually almost a Dolphin fan, but Dan Marino kind of spoiled that for me.
Oh yeah, why did he spoil it for you?
All right, I'll give you a quick story. Hold on, let me get these kids to be quiet.
Okay.
Yeah, but I think I was in 4th grade. Him and Zach Thomas was supposed to come to our elementary school or whatever. They promised us for months. Yeah, we're coming. We're bringing all this Dolphin gear and stuff. Which all the Dolphin gears came, but Dan Marino and Zach Thomas never showed up. They sent us some rookie that just got drafted that nobody knew about, and it was like a total letdown. I mean, big letdown. And then that week, I watched the game, and I think they got beat by the Cowboys like 20-0. So I was already disappointed. I hadn't picked an NFL team at the time yet, so I was like, forget it. I'm just gonna go with the Rams because I like the logo. I just went with the logo. Right
it's a dope logo, and you probably grew up watching the era of like Kurt Warner and Marshall Faulk and all those guys.
Yeah, I mean, I started watching the Rams back in '98. That's right around the time. I think 98, 99. That's around the time when Dan Marino, and the whole little story I just told you happened.
Yeah.
So Rams took off the next couple of years. They beat the Tennessee Titans by a yard or whatever you want to call it.
I remember.
And I celebrated. I'm like, okay, I picked the right team. What is like 21 years later now?
Yeah, man. Yeah, no, good franchise. And yeah, you're not the first one to tell me of a Dan Marino, of a not so good Dan Marino story. You're not the first one to tell me. I still think he's one of the greatest ever, but yeah, like that. You're not the first one to give me a personal story that kind of like that. Let's see what else. 904 Kane says, serious question. Who do you think is on pace to win a championship first, the Dolphins or the Canes?
I'm gonna swing with the Canes on that one. I think this year will be a pivotal year for Miami. Returning 91% talent, going up against Alabama, possibly Clemson in the ACC championship, and get past Clemson, you're in playoffs contention. So I think Miami's on a lot better pace than the Dolphins. I think the Dolphins are probably looking to get a quarterback, maybe, because I'm not sure the status of Toa, and I think isn't Fitzpatrick out of there?
Fitzpatrick's not. Yeah, he's gone. I think they're going to give Tua one more like full year to see what he can do with some weapons, because I liked what I saw, given the minimum amount of talent he had around him with all the injuries, and recovering from his own injury. But the Dolphins, it's more of a we'll see what happens this year with Tua, whereas the Canes are like, what's coming behind De'Ara King as far as quarterback.
Oh man, I'm excited. I'm excited for that. I mean, if De'Ara King is not back by the Alabama game, which Manny Diaz is pretty much trying to assure everybody that he will be, but if he's not, the question is Tyler Van Dyke or Jake Garcia, and I'm leaning Garcia. I'm leaning Garcia. I think Garcia is going to be the guy to open up the playbook a lot more. I mean, spring vanilla, we all know, but that vanilla looked better with Garcia.
It looks like vanilla with some M&Ms on top,
Exactly. It's like, sprinkle a little bit of sugar on top of his vanilla.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm heavily on the Garcia train. Plus, I like his demeanor. It's like when you watch him in a press conference, it's like all the things that the coaches are telling them not to say or not to, put out. He looks like he's just going to burst out and just be himself.
Yeah.
But I feel like with Tyler Van Dyke, he's a lot more reserved, and you can see it in his plays too. You can watch Garcia. When Garcia play, he's looking downfield. The pressure is coming, but he's still moving around the pocket, and he's looking for that deep shot or whoever is open. With Tyler Van Dyke, it's more of a 1, 2, 3, then check down or something. But Garcia, his I think, man, I could go on days with the Garcia talk, man. It's crazy. I'm all in. I won't be surprised if he's a true freshman.
Yeah, I wouldn't be totally shocked either. I know Miami Flow right there would probably yell at you for saying that because he's a huge TVD guy. I'm sure you've seen the arguments back and forth we've had with him, but I love TVD. But I think what you said is spot on. It's a little bit like mechanical, kind of like, okay, you got your 3 reads. If not, check it down. Whereas Garcia, maybe again, this could be just the play calling he had in the spring game, but he seems a little bit more creative and he can improvise on the spot a little bit more. So yeah, I agree with you there for sure.
Yeah, man. I don't know. I think some of the stuff that Miami is missing is swag, and I think Garcia brings that to the table. Because we're not your typical be quiet and just play and political answers and shit. Canes was always in your face, but I mean, I understand we got to move on from the past. The past is a past, this and that, but some of the swag can actually stay, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And we seen when Canes are allowed to swag, especially with the turnover chain when it first came out, we was like number one in the country in turnovers. So when you allow the Canes to go out and, you know, let loose, play football and have fun the way they want to, it's a big difference.
Oh, absolutely. And turnovers are such a big part of the game now. As far as playing defense, you got to take the ball away. It's not enough to just stop people. You know what I mean? And it's much harder to stop people also, because with all the spread offenses, you got to jar the ball loose. You got to pick it off. You got to sack the quarterback. You got to make big splash plays. David Schofer says, I'm a TVD guy. I guess he was saying, not sure about Garcia's arm strength. What do you think about that? Because I know that's the big thing with him. TVD has a cannon, while Garcia's arm is pretty good, but maybe not TVD level.
I've seen Garcia throw the ball down the field. He gets it on target. It's his deep ball is pretty much perfect to me. And I mean, as far as like darts, he does that too. He might not, his arm might not be as strong as Garcia's, not Garcia, TVD's, but it gets the job done and it gets the ball exactly where it needs to be. It's not like he's throwing it to DBs or linebackers. It's in the hands of receivers, whether they catch it or not. Now that's to be determined.
Yeah, that part's on them. Well, hopefully, you know, they're going to have way more playmakers now. It's not going to be like, you know, our options are not going to be limited at wide receiver. That's for sure. Let's go Canes 2021. Yep. Yeah. Flo is a TVD guy till death. Arm strength, spell Dorsey. That's a good one. Yeah, no, Ken Dorsey didn't have the strongest arm either. And you know what? I know, again, the game has evolved. It's not what it was in the 80s and 90s, but Walsh, Erickson, even Kozar to a certain extent, those guys didn't have the strongest arms in the world. Testaverdi did, but the other guys didn't. They were just good game managers.
Oh, 1 sec.
Yeah, go for it. T2Y's got to deal with the kiddos. No worries. But yeah, look, when it was quarterback you and you had Kozar, Testaverdi, Toretta, Walsh, Erickson, the only one that had like a cannon for an arm out of all those guys, to me, was Testaverdi. Testaverdi had an absolute cannon. Kind of choked in the biggest game of his career, but hey, went on to a great NFL career, you know, made a lot of money, but yeah. But yeah, no, I was just telling the people, when it was QBU, man, I think the one trait that they all had, they were good, you know, the Walshes and the Ericksons and all those guys, they were all good leaders. They had that little bit of personality, a little bit of swag, but they were all smart. Yeah. Dorsey, they knew where to put the ball. They understood the offense.
I think on the first championship team, they had Mark Ricks, who all was on that team? Mark Ricks. Why the names ain't coming in? One that a lot of people don't even mention, but was on the team too, was what's his name? Vanderwin. I actually know Vanderwin personally. It's, you know, I've actually did an interview on the channel with him before, but he was also a part of that team. It's like I know their names, but they're not coming to me right now. But I know Mark Ricks, Kyle Vanderwin.
There was. I'm looking up the picture now because there was a picture that kind of went viral at one point. Jim Kelly's in that picture.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mark Rick, Jim Kelly, Bernie Kosar, Earl Morrill is in that.
There we go.
That's the one you were missing. Yeah, Earl Morrill's in that.
Yeah, big number 13. That's Kyle Vanderwin. That's a buddy of mine. He's actually pretty cool. He introduced me to somebody that probably ain't gonna be rooting for us this upcoming September, but he actually introduced me to Joe Montana, which is crazy.
Really? You got to meet Broadway Joe?
Yeah, it's crazy, man. I was like, You kind of passed my era, but I actually know who you are. But to actually meet you, it was kind of like an honor, even though you didn't play for the Canes. But it was pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, there's a little Orange Bowl connection with him because when he won Super Bowl III, when he like predicted against the Baltimore Colts that they were going to win, and they were huge underdogs and they won. That was in the Orange Bowl. So, yeah, Dorsey only needs to throw 15 times. I don't know about 15 times a game, but he did have a strong running game.
Yeah, I mean, you got McGahee, you got Clint Portis, and all those guys. Oh man, Frank Gore. Yeah, he didn't have to do much. Run game was solid.
No, and I remember 2000, 2001, it was like run the ball. These guys would rip off 10, 15-yard runs. And then as soon as you were in enemy territory past the 50-yard marker, play action bomb to Deandre Johnson, touchdown, 4-play drive. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Okay, so how you feeling about going into Alabama? Because I've been stirring up trouble.
No, I did want to touch on Alabama for sure. It's funny because I was watching like other YouTube stuff, and there's more and more videos coming out. Like a year removed, you see them on the schedule. It's just the name on the schedule. You're like, all right, they're gonna kick our ass. That's a loss next. But as you get closer and closer, you analyze the team, you analyze their team, you start to believe a little bit as you get closer and closer.
Yeah.
Like the day of the game, I'm probably gonna believe that we can win the game. Honestly.
Trust me, I'm all in right now.
Oh, I know you are. I know you are.
With all the talent, I just feel like I just got to put faith behind the team, and hopefully they go out and don't prove me wrong. But when you talk a lot of trash, at the end of the day, if we do end up losing that game, I'll be right here to take all of the beating because I know it's coming, especially from the Alabama fans.
Yeah, but I feel like to them it's just business because I feel like every single week it's people talking trash that they're going to beat them.
Yeah, I seen a video today by a guy named JT Sports. That's
the one I saw of why Miami can beat them.
Right, and I was like, that's the same thing that I'm saying. Alabama is just a name. Every year, everything is different. Going into this game, I feel a lot more confident Miami could win that game than if you would say last year or the season before.
Mm-hmm.
I probably would have been on that train that says, oh, yeah, we're going to get our ass kicked. But this season, with all the returning talent, with the way the O-line is looking, I mean, look at the spring game, for example. The O-line played the best. I mean, D-line probably going to need some work.
Yeah.
They couldn't get no penetration.
They couldn't. D tackles I thought made some plays. I thought John Ford looked pretty good. Nesta Silvera didn't play. Harrison Hunt played, but he was kind of invisible. I don't even remember him in there. Yeah.
I've seen Coach Hayes break down the tape, and then he went all in. I was like, man, that's what I got to learn to do that because he was doing the yellow chalk and everything, pointing out plays and everything like that. I was like, I got to really learn to do that.
Yeah, man. But yeah, as Vinnie years ago, he was a nice guy. I actually ran into Vinnie Testaverdi and his son once when his son was like a freshman at UM. By the way, Testaverdi is huge. He's like 6'5" or something.
Oh yeah,
big dude.
Vanderwin, I think I'm 6'2", and Vanderwin, I'm like looking up at him. He's got to be at least 6'6". I was like, man, that picture that you seen, once I seen him in person, I started visualizing standing next to them and how huge they were, and it kind of gave me a vision of like looking at De'Aaron King, because I'm taller than De'Aaron King, so I'm like placing De'Aaron King in that picture with them, and he'll probably be like this. But man, those dudes was huge.
Yeah, that's old school, man, when they were all 6'4" and above. But to answer your question, sorry, I went off on a tangent. How am I feeling about Bama? After I saw that video and, over the past few weeks, analyzing where our team is at and where their team is at, Yeah, I think it's going to be a very competitive game, especially the first half. I think, shocker, I think we're actually going to be prepared for that game. I think we're actually going to come out fast. Will they pull? They might hit us a couple times, with a couple scores at the end of the game and make it look like it wasn't a close game on the scoreboard, but we'll know it was. So I wouldn't be shocked of that happening. But it's getting to the point that I don't think us beating them would shock me, because we're very deep. We're a very experienced team. I think if we just don't shoot ourselves in the foot, it's going to be a tight game. I think that it's going to come down to that.
I think our biggest thing is to stay healthy. If we could stay healthy with all the talent, all the depth that we have going up to that game, everybody's on point. Nobody's, hurt. Don Chaney's back. Everybody's, ready to go. Mm-hmm. I think we could run with Alabama. Now, if you look at it from a paper-wise, looking at the talent that they have versus ours, it's in their favor, 100%. It's in their favor. If you break down the star system they got going, the grades and everything, we're a league behind them. But I do believe that paper stuff goes out the window once you get on that field.
100%. Absolutely. Because some people believed that going into the Florida game a couple years ago. Well, the talent discrepancy wasn't that much, but everybody had us losing that game by 2 touchdowns. And really, we should have won the game.
I mean, if you look at Alabama for the last 5 years, it's top 5 classes. They've been getting top-rated guys. So, it's 5 stars and 5 stars and 4 stars versus our, 3 stars and 4 stars. So the nod is going to be on them. If you ask a lot of people, like that video that guy was talking about, mm-hmm. A lot of people are just going to give the win to Alabama just because of the name and what happened last year. But that's not how football works.
Exactly. No, I totally agree. Like because I feel like that's what happened to us. When you got into like the mid 2000s, it's like, oh, Miami's just going to be in the national title discussion because they're Miami, and kind of took our eye off the ball. And all of a sudden, in a few years, look where Miami was at.
Yep. And here we are today.
Yep. Trying to rebuild. See, Bama going to be surprised as hell. Possibly, we may surprise them. See what Randy says. To beat Alabama, run a few trick plays, be aggressive on offense, pass, no stupid penalty. No stupid penalties is a big one. Yep. No drops is a huge one. Solid special teams. Don't be intimidated by the word Alabama. Yeah, that's number one. Don't be intimidated, because if you're not intimidated, I feel like the penalties won't happen.
Dude, you just don't know. It's so many Kane fans right now that are intimidated. A lot of them, C2Y, stop talking shit to Alabama. Stop talking this and that. Okay, from a logical standpoint, look at Alabama for the last 10 years. They're pretty solid. They're basically the team to beat and the team to beat. So at the end of the day, if you look at their rankings, their class, they're in the talks for playoffs pretty much every season. They're ranked number 1 or 2, 3, or 4, somewhere in the top 5 every beginning of every season because of the talent that they got and the talent that's returning. And, some of those players could have started the year before, stuff like that. So you can't undermine them, but at the same time, can't be intimidated by them. It's, to me, this is going to be the biggest measuring stick for Miami. And if Miami can pull off that win, trust me, the whole world will be watching, and the whole world will be praying that it was a fluke.
Yeah, for sure. But a lot like the Florida game in 2013 when we beat them, we used it as a springboard to the rest of the season. We won like our next 7 games after that.
All right.
Because I think the same thing on an even bigger scale can happen if we beat Bama.
Now, the thing that pissed me off the most about that 2013, mm-hmm. we went to play Florida State. They was undefeated. I think we was undefeated too. Mm-hmm. And then we lost that game. We lost that game terribly. I think it was like 40 something, 17, if I'm not mistaken. And then we went straight downhill after that. Instead of going back out there and keep fighting and, make it look respectable, we basically went downhill. But 2013 could have been a special season if we had bounced back right after the Florida State game.
Oh, yeah. I remember the next game after the Florida State game. It was against Virginia Tech, Saturday night in the rain. I don't know if you remember the game. We were wearing the smoke jerseys, and we jumped out to a quick 7-0 lead, but then we had like 3 consecutive fumbles, and the game just totally unraveled. I was there. I was pissed. They just didn't have the mental fortitude back then. That was they had the talent. They were missing the mental part of it. But this guy Montre was just saying, we just got to commit T2Y, but with a laughing emoji. I don't know if that's for real.
He's a Florida State guy.
Oh, okay.
He's a Florida State guy. I trolled him a lot. So, I mean, just got to commit. He'll decommit next week, but okay. Well, okay.
He'll see highlights of the spring game like, oh, never mind.
Yeah, that guy must have missed that spring game.
Yeah. Did I say Florida State? I meant Fresno State. Sorry.
Now, and what Florida State fans fail to realize sometimes is these guys commit to you guys as a boost. Some of these guys will use the name Florida State to get better offers or to get offers from schools that are pretty much better fit for them. Because we've seen it done a lot. For instance, what's this guy's name that used Miami to get boosted? Miles Mo Young. I think back in February-ish, we heard about a walk-on Miles Mo Young coming into Miami as a cornerback. Kid looked like a 13-year-old. But nonetheless, he had some offers. Boston College and some other teams. Once he put that he was going to walk on at Miami, this dude got I think 12 more offers. So, a lot of kids do that. Bluff, fake it till you make it.
Yeah. A lot of them kind of have to do that because I think a lot of that star system stuff is kind of political, unfortunately.
He told me to stop hating. Okay, so another thing with Florida State, a couple weeks, maybe like a month ago, Kelly, the guy that just decommitted from them,
Nigel Kelly, yeah.
Nigel Kelly. Mm-hmm. So a couple weeks ago, I was hearing rumors of him, flipping, decommitting, open up his, his recruitment, and I gave Florida State fans that because I was on Pope channel, 863 Seminole TV. I was on his channel, and I was telling him, hey, watch out, Kelly gonna flip, or we might, get in Kelly ear. No, he's not gonna flip this and that. And then I had another guy by the name of JT James. Oh, I talked to him at the spring game. He said he's solid Florida State. He's not doing nothing. He's fully committed. A week later, decommits. I haven't seen JT James since. But kids I like Manny's approach this season. Don't get commits to decommits because as you can see, we had guys like Brandon Cleveland and Jamal Johnson that's been committed for a year. But when you go down to looking at the staff that you got and the guys that they want, some of these guys don't fit. So sometimes the university is just going to tell them, look, we looking otherwhere where you're this type of guy and we're moving in this type of direction. So it's best for you to find somewhere that's best to fit you. But our mindset has changed from when you did commit, when we did offer you. So
right.
I think Florida State is on a different path than us. I think they'll take whatever they can get to fill up their depth chart.
Yeah, because they lost so many guys recently.
Yeah, transfer portal is crazy.
Yeah, they need to kind of fill up the depth chart, like you said, and then go from there. They're a little behind. Borregales hits a 40-yard field goal to beat Bama, 31-28. I'll lose my damn mind if that happens.
Dude, we beat Alabama, man. I'm gonna be so unbearable. I'm gonna
Oh my
be
God.
so unbearable.
Yeah, me too.
Every other fan base is gonna hate me. We beat Alabama. Trust me, they're gonna be like, "Damn, did y'all really just win the national championship?" Yes.
Yep,
Yes.
basically. Yes, it's going to feel like it for sure.
It's gonna feel like it. As long as we don't let ourselves down throughout the rest of the season, sky's the limit.
I think that's such a massive win if we get it. There's no way we can come down from that. Well, the level of belief this team will have after that can't come down from that. Because there's a difference between cockiness and belief.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Disagree. Bama isn't the biggest measuring stick. It's the first game. We have the entire season left. That's true. That's true, Randy. It's a full season. To a point. It is a measuring stick for sure, but you still got 12 more games after that or whatever it is.
I look at it as the biggest measuring stick for us because when you look at a level of talent, nobody else on our schedule is going to have the level of talent that Alabama has. No
Right.
team on our schedule has a top 5 class in the past 5 years than Alabama. If we had Clemson on there, then you could throw them in there too. But other than that, everyone else is pretty much fair game. But Alabama, top 5 class, you can't. They basically say they reload, they don't rebuild. But nonetheless, we heard that with LSU, so
we did. And anything can happen, man. Offensive coordinator can leave, a quarterback can get hurt. Not that I'm wishing injury on them, but anything can happen.
Yeah, that's why I tell a lot of fans for the next couple months, you can sit back and like, oh my God, Alabama's gonna beat us. They're gonna do that. They're gonna embarrass us. Or you could have some faith and have some fun. I know it's hard to talk trash to Alabama fans. It's hard. It's super hard. I'm not even going to try to compare schedules, compare wins and losses, and none of that. If I do, I will get totally destroyed. But
yeah,
trust me, I'll find ways around it. Try anything to talk some trash to them.
904 Hurricane. I think you guys are forgetting that Nick Saban has the refs in his back pocket. The fact that Miami's playing an SEC team is a huge disadvantage. Example, Alabama will be able to hold all day. That does concern me because, I remember that Orange Bowl game against Wisconsin where Mark Richt you never see him get that angry, and to the point that he grabbed one of the refs. I don't know if you remember that. That entire season was bad. I think we went 9 straight games or something like that without an opponent getting an offensive holding call against us, which is incredible because offensive holding happens every game.
Yeah, not only that, too, when they show replays and you clearly see it and they're like, that ref right there watching that guy, why you not throwing the flag? But if it was the other way around, it's like they love calling the penalties. But I just hope that they do let it be a fair game and don't try to push a narrative because at the end of the day, too, a lot of people don't realize you got to look at Vegas. You got to look at the wins and losses when it comes to Vegas.
Yeah.
How much money will they lose if Miami wins, and how much money will they gain if Alabama wins? Because look for instance on Clemson. Clemson played some team, and it came out in the news that some guy put $8,000 on Clemson just to win I think $100 or $1,000. So when you look at how much Vegas is going to pay out, okay, you just put $8,000 on Clemson and you won $100. If you were to put $8,000 on Miami and Miami beats Clemson, then you probably win double that. So you got to look at it from a money standpoint too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Kane, Idaho. It can happen in Atlanta. Canes need to jump on them early, 100%. It's got to be a fast start. A couple quick offensive TDs, a turnover return for a touchdown, then weather the storm.
I think to beat them, we got to do exactly what Florida did. You got to go toe to toe with them, scoring back and forth. Because if you can't constantly stop them, you got to at least keep up with them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what Florida did. But in the end, they didn't hold out long enough. But you got to score. We can't have 3 and outs. We can't constantly have 3 and outs, and especially if they're putting up points, because then it's going to get ugly.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you can't dig yourself in a hole against that team. That's absolutely for sure. AJ. So it looks like AJ Duffy might have been that commit, by the way. But okay, hey, good for them.
Another quarterback. Okay. They need those desperately.
Ohio State was in his ear. I think it's talking about Duffy. Prepare to be unbearable T2Y. I hope so. I hope so, man.
I got a bet with an Alabama fan, or a proposition. If Miami were to lose that game, my video after that will have the big Alabama A on my forehead. I don't want to do that. And this is vice versa for him. So if Miami beats him, he'll come on with a big old U on his forehead. Now that'll be nice to see.
That would be very nice to see. He'll have the most viewers on his channel ever, because all us fans will be logging on.
Yeah, I like that guy though, because me and him been trash talking, but it's been cool. Plus we talk offline too, so
yeah,
it's been pretty cool.
Yeah. Ooh, Calvin in the building brings up a good point. UNC, we haven't beaten them in 3 years. Yeah, as far as measuring stick games besides Alabama, this is another one, North Carolina. Because man, it's I just want to. I know there's been some times when we've kicked their ass, but it's been games that didn't really mean anything. When we play them this year, it's going to mean a lot because it could mean the Coastal Championship. We really, I think we could dominate that game. I don't know. What do you think about the North? Like, did you happen to see North Carolina's spring game?
I actually didn't watch it yet. That's on my to-do. That's actually one of the things on my to-do list. Because I've been basically streaming the FCS games because they have the spring season going.
Right.
1 second.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah, by the way, if you're not subscribed to T2Y's channel, please do so. He does stream the FCS playoff games. Been watching a couple of those. Let's see. Derek, what do you think is the key for us to beat Bama? Yeah, we were talking about that earlier. Just no mistake-free football. Don't let the moment get too big for them. Don't be intimidated because it is Bama. But don't be intimidated. If you're not intimidated, then you won't make the dumb penalties. You won't jump off sides. You won't, face mask people. Stuff like that. No targeting, please, for the love of God. And catch the ball. That's another one. When you're butt naked, wide open, and there's going to be moments where we are, you got to come down with that football. You have to. What's going on, man? All right. No worries. So, yeah, no, we're as I was saying, Bama, when you do watch their spring game, their linebackers did not look very good at all. After losing Chaz Surratt, that obviously linebacker is kind of a weak point for us, but I think it's an even bigger weak point for them. So I think that's a team we can expose if we play our game, but that's just me.
I think the main 2 guys that I'm looking at are their tight end, Cameron, and their wide receiver. He's a freshman, but he looked like he could have played. He could have been playing for the past 2 years. I forgot his name. His last name is Hall.
Okay,
so that's another guy, number 17, to look out for. He looked like he goes and get it. That play where D. Wiggin had the ball took against North Carolina, he would have came down with it.
Yeah.
So those are two weapons on offense we got to pay attention to. But if we put enough pressure on Bryce Young, we won't have to necessarily worry about them too much.
Right. Picture this. Bama. Miami beats Bama, runs the table, and meets Bama again for the national championship. Jesus Christ.
That's what I'm telling people. We might have, if we beat them, we might have to play them twice if we get past Clemson. But think about that. Getting past Bama the first game, and then actually getting past Clemson. Those are two teams that's been pretty much premium for the past 5-6 years. That'll catapult us right back into the front of college football.
Absolutely. 100%. Feel real good about the Bama game. Manny Williams feeling confident. Kane, Idaho. The whole state of Idaho is going to hate me if we beat Bama. I hope so, man. Make some noise, Kane, Idaho. Brother Jay Blaze, what's going on? No matter who we play, your mindset should be dominate every game, leave it on the field. Absolutely.
That's what I'm praying and hoping for.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
Don't get frustrated when things don't go our way and just leave everything on the field.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. Miami YouTuber keep saying we're going to lose, just keep it close. What a loser mentality that is. I hate to admit it, but it is.
Yeah. I've stayed away from that. I'm like, you know what? I'm going all in. I'm going 100%, putting full faith behind all the players that we got. And, if we go out and lose, so be it. So be it. But, football starts in the next 4 months?
128 days, I believe.
I'm not going to be a fan that sit back in a corner and tremble. A lot of Canes fans are talking as if we lost that game already. And we haven't even put anybody on the field yet. It's crazy to me.
Absolutely. Yeah, 100% agree. All right. Randy Knowles says, thoughts on who's returning kicks and punts. We got a lot of options there. I think as far as who's returning punts, it's probably going to be a sure-handed guy like Tyreek Stevenson. A lot of people don't like that because he's like a bigger guy, and they want like a smaller, shiftier guy, like a Roscoe Parrish type of punt returner, Travis Benjamin, that kind of dude. But I don't know. It's too early. I feel like it's too early to say. It could be Tyreek, Rooster, Malik Curtis, Romello Brinson, Keyshawn Smith. We have so many options in the return. Harley.
I've seen Harley. I've seen Xavier,
yeah.
Limbo. There's so many of them right now. I think that whole returning job is up for grabs.
Totally up for grabs. I think if I had to give like a hard prediction right now, like gun to my head, I would probably say X is going to be the punt returner.
Yeah.
And then the kick returners will probably be Rooster and I don't know, like Mike Harley, somebody like that. Throw a veteran back there.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not expecting a Devin Hester or Travis Benjamin, but something close would be nice.
Yeah, man. Calvin M says Bama, new quarterback, running back, offensive line, wide receiver, D line, and corners. They got a lot of they do reload, but they had to reload at a lot of positions. That is true.
Right. I think right now the thing that we got on Bama is experience. A lot of the guys that we have, they've been playing every year. I mean, look at the year before this season. The O-line was terrible. We've seen some improvement this season. It wasn't the best O-line, but nonetheless, it improved. And all the guys with all the experience is coming right back. So I'm expecting it to get even better. I hope I'm right on that. I hope we don't, digress or whatever.
Yeah, no, we're going to see a big jump, I think, from that unit more than any other unit on the team.
Yeah, I'm just concerned at the DN position right now. That's where that's what my main concern is. We got Deandre Johnson out of Tennessee, but we haven't really seen much from him yet to even determine, if he's actually deserving of the starting position. And then we have the I don't know what to call it, the McLeod effect, where we don't know what to expect from him. Are they going to, play seniority and just let him start and play or whatever? So it's some question marks. Defensive line. And not to mention too, Leonard Taylor. He's not even on campus yet. He's not even practicing yet. He's not even, coming in trying to fit into the team or whatever yet. I'm pretty sure he's going to come in with a competitive mindset. And if he could translate from high school to college in that same dominant manner, that D-line might get a shakeup. We might have a true freshman, but too early to really say.
That's true. Yeah, and that's another thing I was thinking of, because I know it's rare for freshmen to come out and just right away dominate. Because I was thinking of some of the greats, like the Ray Lewises and the Warren Sapps. They all played as freshmen. Chase Smith and Chase Smith and Avante Williams are two guys that are two newcomers are going to ask to get to play a lot, because they're just too good. You can't keep them off the field. And I think we may see them week 1.
Yeah, I mean, that safety position, I think we're good. I seen a comment by a fan. I don't remember quite who it was, but he said if Bubba Bolden was not ready for game 1 or whatever, he wouldn't be worried. And I thought about it. I'm like, you know what? We do have James Williams coming in, Avante Williams looking good, Chase Smith, all those guys looking good, but it still would be nice to have the depth.
Absolutely. No, and we certainly do in the secondary.
Yeah, because going up against Alabama, when some of those guys get tired or fatigued or gassed or whatever, it'll be great to rotate guys in so they can catch their breath.
Yeah, no, that's the number one reason you need depth. And also, guys get nicked up. And if you're rotating guys throughout the season, that's less wear and tear. So less chance of them being hurt at the end of the season, which is what happened in 2017. We kind of bottomed out the last couple of games because we were just exhausted.
Yep.
Hate to be a Debbie Downer, but I'm not confident about beating NC at the Hill. Miami's taken a step forward, but so is NC. I didn't think they looked bad. I didn't think they looked bad overall. 904. I thought their offense looked very solid, but their defense definitely has some weak points we can exploit.
All right. Not to mention them 2 running backs is gone. Those 2 running backs are gone. Oh, man. A nightmare.
But I feel like because of the scheme we were running, I think they just outcoached us in the running game. I feel like any middle of the road running back could have run for 180 or 200 yards on us that day.
Now, I'm not sure how true it was, but I was hearing something about our defense. Some of our defensive staff wasn't even at the game. So I'm not sure how true that was.
Well, I don't know if it's not because they weren't at the game. I heard that they weren't at practice all week. They had to be in quarantine because they had COVID or they didn't pass COVID protocols or something. So they had to be in quarantine until the morning of the game. So they weren't with the team that week is what I remember hearing.
Yeah, but nonetheless, it was disappointing because going into half and coming back out running the same scheme, same defense that's been getting us killed, and I'm like, adjust, do something different. Stop over, especially on the defensive end play calls or whatever. Stop over. What's the word for it?
Over pursuing.
Thank you, because that's what I've seen from both sides of the defensive end, and they just ran the ball down our throat because they got past them with ease.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If Manny's calling plays, I feel a little bit better because I expect for us to get beat on some really big plays with Manny's defense. But I think his defense also blicks a lot, so it'll cause a lot of disruptions to where we'll get a lot more turnovers and stuff like that. So it'll balance itself out.
Absolutely. No, our that attacking blitzing style, it could leave you open to get exposed at times, but you will cause turnovers.
Right.
Absolutely. Cam Harris kick return. I don't know about Cam Harris returning kicks.
No.
I don't know about that.
No,
Marcus Clark, maybe. I don't know. I feel like the other guys are ahead of him.
Yeah.
Hell no, Harry. Yeah, Randy agrees.
Yeah, I'd definitely pass on that one. No, sir.
No, thank you. Rooster has got to be in the mix in there. Absolutely, because you know what? We got so many guys in that running back room. Rooster might not get, just because of the amount of guys in that room, Rooster might not get the touches that he should be getting. So I feel like you got to involve him any way you can.
Yeah, now, another thing too, to what Reed Lashley was saying, he's trying to have a premier back.
Yeah.
So one of those guys will be probably looking at around 20 touches. So I mean, Rooster's competing. Don Chaney right now is out on injury. He'll be back, probably game 1, if not game 2. So to have Rooster back there returning, and if he wins the job as premier running back, he'll I don't think he'll be the guy returning, because then he'll be a lot more fatigued when it comes to play calling. So if Rooster end up winning the job, I don't see him being a returner.
Yeah. Although that whole Lashley saying, "Oh, I just want one workhorse back," like getting the bulk of the carries. I don't know. I don't know if I totally bought that. I don't know if he's maybe saying that to light a fire under those guys, so they're competing for that one spot. Because you have 5, assuming Don Chaney's healthy, you have 5 4-star running backs.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at Reed Lashley's offense too, it's mostly balanced. So if he runs 60, 65 plays, then 30 to 33 around the area will be run plays. So if he does have a premier back, like he said, and it's not just to fire the guys up, then you'll have somebody that's probably taking around 15 to 19 of those 15 to 20 of those run plays, and then you'll have the other guys rotating in for the 10, 13 other ones. So you'll still have 2 running backs that possibly picking up 7 or 8 attempts.
Yeah
I mean, that's pretty much what we got from them last season too, was when they did a lot of rotations. Cam probably ran the ball like 8 times, Chaney around 8, and Knighton probably average around maybe 8 also.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. As long as, this is what I hope they do, as long as if there's a hot hand, that they ride the hot hand, like whoever's hot that game, keep feeding them.
What I think they should do is have a thunder and lightning situation going on.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, remember back in what year was that? Remember when Clemson had C.J. Spiller and Jacoby Ford?
Yes.
And those 2 guys was like thunder and lightning. Jacoby Ford was a speedster, and C.J. Spiller was also a speedster, but he was also a thumper. He could run up the middle and knock somebody out. And I think that's what we need also. We could do that with a Chaney and a Knighton. I mean, I hate to leave Cam out of the situation, but if Chaney and Knighton could be that thunder and lightning, we'll be. Because you see when Chaney runs the ball up the middle, he'll get past a tackler and then pick up extra yards and stuff like that. Right? If he gets in the open field, then he's gone.
Mm-hmm.
And then with Knighton, as soon as he touched the ball, it's like he just want to go.
Yeah,
he's the lightning. He's that speedster. So if you have both, and if you have packages where you can line both of them up in the backfield, sky's the limit, because you can send one of them on the screen, send one up the middle, leave one as a decoy. Oh man, I could just imagine. But Cam, if you're watching, I'm sorry, but man, I can't wait to see the progression with Don Chaney and Knighton this season.
Yeah, I mean, I just hope first and foremost Don Chaney's ready to go when the season starts, because that's my 2 main concerns this year, honestly. Well, 3. 1 is the linebackers. 2 is Chaney going to be ready, and 3 is King going to be ready.
Right. And those 16 players that are injured, are they going to be back in time to be a part of the depth and the rotation?
Yeah. Well, I think like half those 16 are expected back by the summer.
Yeah. I think the only two he said was game time was Don Memorelli and Don Chaney.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
if we can have all on back, I'm all on board. But my main question in my mind is going to be, fumbling on it all the way to the game.
Mm-hmm.
King's not back. Garcia or Tyler Van Dyke. Until game day, I would not. It'll be a puzzle.
Yeah. It's not a situation like back when, remember when Kaya was a true freshman? They were supposed to start. Ryan Williams was supposed to be the starter. He gets hurt, and they're like, okay, we got this true freshman and we got this transfer, and the transfer is not that good. So we kind of have to throw out a true freshman. Whereas if King is not ready to go, you got guys that you feel like, man, if worse comes to worse and we got to ride out 2021 with one of these young guys, we feel pretty confident. Not
to mention, too, if Bama, I know Bama's going to have a game plan for King. They have to.
Mm-hmm.
He's that explosive to where you got to have a game plan for if he takes off and run the ball. At any given moment, any given play, he could run. If things get tough, he could run. But will we still have that King with that mentality? Because after injuries, you know how guys get. Will we have that King that, he's going to take off and run with thoughtless? Or are we going to have a King that, if I run this time, maybe I could hurt my knee again, the mental part. So that's a question on that. And then if he's not ready, Tyler Van Dyke or Jay Garcia, let's say you start Tyler Van Dyke and he doesn't look that good, and then you put in Jay Garcia and then he just lights it up or whatever. Now, when King come back, is it automatically here's your job? Garcia's back to the bench, or will Reed Lashley try to implement some plays to where he can actually get Garcia out there, or even Tyler Van Dyke in a vice versa situation to get those guys ready?
Yeah, I didn't think about that because I always just thought, if let's say King's not ready game one, even if TVD or Garcia play well against Bama, do you just give the keys back to King? I would say yes, you do.
Yeah.
However, I didn't think of the possibility where yes, you do, but let's still have a few packages for one of the young guys.
Yeah.
And then maybe they get phased in as the season goes.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, this season, King is gone.
Yeah.
Tyler Van Dyke or Garcia could possibly be the face of the Miami Hurricanes for the next couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, if we could get them some playtime this season, if we could step on the gas and blow some of these teams out to where we could get those guys, get their feet wet on a collegiate level or whatever, because we didn't see much from Van Dyke last season because we had 20 close games. But if we could get some momentum going early, beating teams 3-4 touchdowns, get those guys in, get them wet, then I think we'll be able to get a glimpse of what we have in the future. And
absolutely.
A quick question: you watched the spring game. What's your thoughts on Matoka?
Matoka's more athletic than I thought because I think that was the first time a lot of Cane fans really got to see him get real playing time because we've always only heard it. Matoka's got some athleticism, decent arm, decent accuracy, not amazing, but I think he could be, he's a solid backup guy that can, he's a program guy. I don't think he's going anywhere as far as transferring. I think, he is what he is. I don't think he's a starting caliber Power 5 quarterback. He's more of a group of 5 caliber guy, but he's decent.
My thing with him, I think if Garcia and Van Dyke battle it out after King left and, they give the keys to either Van Dyke or Garcia, I think he'll probably end up having to be maybe a grad transfer. Because at the end of the day, you're here to play, not here to ride the bench. You want to put yourself in a situation to where you could go on to the next level. I mean, as of today, Nkosi Perry, for example, he's a Florida Atlantic Owl. He
Yes.
went to FAU now, so and that's an example because Keene came back. With that, Nkosi would be riding the bench again. He'll be backing up King, and you know how that goes. Guys want to go to the league. Guys want to put themselves in a better situation. If it's not Miami, it's got to be somewhere else. So at the end of the day, I think if Matoka doesn't, outdo one of these guys, he might end up transferring. Maybe not this season or next, but probably the following.
Yeah. It's very possible either that happens, or I could also see a situation where next year, whoever loses the battle between TVD and Jake Garcia will leave. Yeah. And if that happens, maybe Matoka stays.
Yeah. And you got to keep in mind too, if the commitment by Ja'Cory Brown, if that sticks, then you got another dual threat coming in to compete. Man, we might be looking good in the quarterback room for the next 4 to 5 years.
Yeah, and nowadays the good thing is starting a QB young doesn't scare away QB recruits anymore, because you saw what happened in Ohio State recently. You saw what happened in Clemson recently. Yeah, they had Kelly Bryant, but Trevor Lawrence was just so good they put him right in.
Right.
So they were like,
that's the mentality I want from Manny. If the guy that's, for instance, with the Trevor Lawrence situation, if the guy that's not a senior behind this other guy, if he's better, play him. Mm-hmm. That's all I want from Manny.
Please.
That's it. Manny's checked all the other boxes. Coaching wise, replacing guys, getting better recruiters, and everything like that. Every season, everything that we cried about, he fixed. So let's just see if he can fix the seniority thing.
Yeah. We won't know until the season starts, but I'm hoping, and I have the feeling that he is.
Now, my thing too, if he doesn't, and then the game goes and certain things not going, as planned, and he does put in, switch up some guys, put some other guys in, and those guys start to stride, I think he'll get it by then. Hey, okay, I got to do it. 100%. I build a relationship with you guys over the years, but at the end of the day, my job is on the line. I got to play the best talent.
Absolutely.
These next 2 seasons to me is going to be Manny's evaluation.
Oh, absolutely. I want to see Coach Rick get Knighton in space, pound the rock with Cam and Don. That's going to open up the pass. Absolutely. No, and I want to see more creativity. We're going to see more of a wide open playbook, obviously, because we only got to crack it open last year. But I want to see more creativity in the running game.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, what do you think about this? Because I saw a comment earlier that we may play 2 quarterbacks against Bama. You think that's a possibility?
If King's back, no.
I agree.
Unless King is having a horrible day, I don't think so. I mean, I don't really think so. I mean, we even look at the Clemson game. King wasn't having the best day, but they played him the whole game. Played him all the way down to the end. So we accepted defeat and started bringing in Nkosi and maybe was it Matoka we seen in that game for like a couple handoffs. But unless King is doing horrible, I don't think we're going to do 2 quarterbacks.
Yeah, I agree if King is healthy, but if it's the 2 younger guys, I can totally see both of them get playing time. I could see a scenario where that happens. 904 Hurricane. How much does FSU beat North Carolina play in your thinking Miami should beat NC? FSU barely hung on for dear life, and Miami historically doesn't play well at Keenan Memorial Stadium. Yes, facts. We historically do not play well over there. I went up for that game in 2017 when we played them up there, and we had to cause a fumble late in the game for them not to score and beat us at the end. And I think they were like 0-7 when we played them. I was at that game and we barely won. Yes, you're right. We don't play well over there, but I believe we can beat them because we have so many returning starters coming back. They all remember that game last year. It's still on their minds. Diaz now has full control of the defense with better minds behind him, like Shoop and T-Rob. And, the whole staff behind him on defense is totally different. Jess Simpson. So I think we upgraded so many things during the offseason. And just the returning experience. I'm not thinking we're going to dominate them, but I definitely think we should win that game.
Yeah, I think we should go in that game with a clear mind and go for vengeance, straight vengeance. I think, but Manny has to call a perfect game. Manny has, especially, I think they're going to try to run the ball again. So Manny's definitely got to be up for that.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not sure how dynamic those running backs that they have now are going to be compared to the ones that they had, this season past. But be prepared for the run. I'm pretty sure they're gonna try it again, and if they have success doing it, they're gonna keep doing it.
Yeah, man. Sigmund in the house. What's going on? His question is, well, who is the best talent at the linebacker position? John and T2Y. I'll let you take it first. Who do you think is the most just pure talent in that room?
Pure talent. I want to go with Avery Huff and Corey Flaggs. Those are two guys that I'm mainly looking at. But Avery Huff more because he's a raw talent. He's more of a instinctive talent. Like he said, he had to sit back and learn how to be coached because his instinct as a linebacker is, more so than scheme.
Mm-hmm.
He's got to learn how to play the scheme, why doing this, what this does to the offense and stuff like that. Because he was more of a linebacker that's like, now with Manny blitzing a lot, it's going to even benefit him more because that's what he likes. He's physical. Mm-hmm. So I'm looking forward to seeing, what he does, especially on blitz packages. But Corey, I think Corey is probably one of the most solid ones we got. And according to Manny, because the guy was brought up was Juwan Mitchell out of Texas. So he's in the transfer portal. I guess he wanted to make a decision, this week. And according to Manny Navarro, basically Manny says he's good with the guys that we got. So I'm pretty sure Manny's sold on his linebackers. He's seeing stuff that we're not seeing behind the scenes and stuff like that. But we did see them play pretty decent in the spring game.
They played decent, especially Keontre Smith. I thought he looked really good on the weak side. But most talented. If we're going to include the guys that are kind of hybrid between striker and linebacker, I'm going to say Chase Smith.
Yeah. Yeah, if you throw him in there as a striker or whatever, I'll put him in there too because he's an all around athlete.
Mm-hmm.
I think he probably could play every DB position. So
absolutely, yeah.
He's one of those guys that you could put him at safety, put him at cornerback, and he'll dominate. But for have him at striker too, that'll be crazy.
Mm-hmm.
My question though is when it comes to the striker position, Amari Carter's come down to the striker, and you also have Firesen.
Mm-hmm.
Who's gonna start? That's my question.
That's a good question. I think Frierson will get more playing time ultimately than than Amari, just because he was so reliable at that position last year, and he is an upperclassman. I think he's going into his senior year now, so I think will get a bulk of the snaps. But Amari Carter will take some snaps from him. But don't be surprised if you see some packages that Frierson and Amari are there at the same time. I think, and Manny's not showing his hand right now necessarily, but I think we'll see a lot of this where it's third down, second and long, that kind of thing, blitz package. You're going to see packages that just have one linebacker in the middle, like one true linebacker, and then you'll see Keontre and Amari, or you'll see Frierson and Amari, or Chase Smith and Frierson, like two strikers or two, DB kind of, safety kind of players to bring the blitz, or just to have speed on the field. You know what I'm saying? So I think I think those guys are going to get moved around a lot. Like the Will and the striker are going to be almost like interchangeable in a way.
Yeah, trust me, I'm just waiting to see all the rotations before I make any evaluations. And okay, this guy's, this guy, that guy, position wise should all start. Once Manny put them in and start the rotations, and you get a better evaluation of guys. But that's a good position to look at though, with Amari and Frierson.
Right. Exactly. Let's take hybrid out of the conversation. It's not a concern. Sam Brooks might have something to say. Sam Brooks is a hell of an athlete, but I know he's dealing with that turf toe, so he hasn't been out there.
Yeah, Sam Brooks was. I wanted to see a little bit more flash from him last season, because we saw a little bit from him during the LA Tech bowl game, and I thought he did a pretty decent job out there. He was pretty fast, and I was like looking at him like, man, he probably could have been better than Pickney and Quarterman. That's the kind of flashes I was getting from him, and then when I didn't see that last season, it's like, okay, but nonetheless, he possibly could be somebody to look out for this season.
Absolutely. Man, if that would be a huge shot in the arm for this team if Sam Brooks can make it back, because I know from personal experience, I know how tricky turf toe is. It's just a nagging, painful thing that it feels like it never goes away, and it just needs time. What happened to Girvin Hall? Nothing from what I understand. He played. I thought he played all right in the spring game.
Other than being hurdled by Cam, I think he's all right.
Yeah, I think his pride was hurt, but he had a nice TFL the first play of the game in the spring game. He played all right. There was one ball that he should have intercepted on a deep throw. Aside from that, he played all right. I don't think he played bad. Girvin got to cover better. Yeah, man, he got to kick Mac. Yeah, Mac. He's got to get revenge from Mac Brown. Mac Brown has been little brothering Manny for a while.
Yeah, he's treating Manny like we treat Florida State.
Exactly. Just smacking him around. I love Smith and Frierson together. Not a fan of Carter. He's a 15-yard penalty waiting to happen. I disagree, Randy. I think if he's playing closer to the box, he doesn't have time to load up as much and just unload on somebody. When he's closer to the box, also in that mess of all those tacklers, targeting doesn't get called nearly as much, hardly ever. So,
you got to look at it. Most of the passes that's going to come, it's going to be short passes. It's not like he's coming all the way from safety to hit somebody. Most of the time, those guys catch the ball. Linebackers are right there to make contact or whatever. I don't think he'll have time to lay it like he normally do. But that is a concern if it does happen. Those 15-yard penalties plus getting tossed out the game.
It hurts.
Can't afford those. We saw what happened with Clemson. Once we got that 15-yard, that targeting that Trevor Lawrence sold. By the way, he sold it.
Sold the hell out of it. Yep. The only reason they called that is because he was, writhing in pain on the ground.
Yep. kind of remind me of that. You ever seen the highlight with Jimmy Butler? He got hit in the eye and he laid down on the ground. He's like,
"Oh yeah,
oh. Did they call it yet?" That's pretty much what pissed me off too is similar situation happened to De'Aaron King and they didn't even call it.
Yeah, no, there were a couple times De'Aaron King got roughed up pretty bad and they didn't call it.
Yeah, dude led with the helmet, hit King, no penalties, no targeting, nothing. I was like, okay.
Yeah, it was like some dude with long hair, right, on Clemson's defense that lit him up. Yeah, nothing. Absolutely nothing. Yeah, I saw the same thing on Twitter that 904 is saying. I saw something on Twitter about playing a 4-6-1. I think so James Williams can get on the field. That's another thing. James Williams is on his way.
Yeah. We're looking at receivers also, but we fail to mention that, Romello Brenson's not here yet. And he's going to be I think he could be a game changer.
Yes.
What's his name? Rashard Smith, speedster, one of those guys that could probably, challenge a Mike Harley. And who was the other guy? I think it was Jacoby George.
Jacoby George, yeah.
And those guys ain't here yet. So, man, once they come on in, I just wish we get some visual. That's it. Of those guys when they come in, see how they're doing. Because we've been getting little clips here and there from the other guys. We've seen the spring game, some guys shine and stuff. But I want to see those guys when they come in, so I could try to, make some comparisons.
Yeah, man. Car clock Joe Namath, not Joe. Were you talking about? Sorry, you were talking about Joe Montana.
Joe Namath. I'm sorry. Yeah, it was Joe Namath, not Montana.
That's who you met, right?
Joe Namath.
Okay. I had it confused. Yeah, for some
Joe,
reason,
I hope you're not watching.
Yeah, I knew you meant Joe Namath. I don't know how, but yeah, not Montana.
Joe, if you're watching, I'm sorry, man. He's not a better guy than you. Okay. It's a mistake.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, James Williams is going to be a problem. Absolutely will be a problem. Well, we're coming up.
One of the questions too has been asking about James Williams is where do you play him? That's the question a lot of people's been asking. Where do you play him?
I think you play him. You kind of. Man, this year, since we're so deep at safety, you see what happens when, kind of playing him in the striker role, I think. Or actually, no, throw him out there at safety and see what happens. If he may be better than Cam Kinchins once he's on the field. You never know, because that's another guy, Kinchins, that's going to get some playing time. Avonte Williams is going to get some playing time. It's a good problem. We got a lot of playmakers to choose from. I would start him where he's good at safety, and then if there's no room for him, bring him down to linebacker, bring him down to striker. Get him on the field somewhere is my goal with James Williams. All right. So, we're coming up on that hour. It's almost 8:30. I'm sure, you got to deal with the kiddos soon. They actually quieted it down, though.
Yeah, they...
Oh, wait. No, there they are.
Yeah.
But
they're a big hand, a big mess. I'm moving this week, actually this weekend, so I probably won't do no shows for maybe it's the off season, so it won't really bother, but probably won't do no shows for the next couple of weeks. Got to get everything situated at a new place. But
gotcha. Moves.
I will keep the car videos coming.
Yeah,
but from doing this, and trolling other teams at the same time too, especially Florida State, you will be surprised how many Florida State fans that actually give me the information to troll them. You'll be surprised. On Instagram, it's like, why do you want me to troll your team? It's like crazy.
That's funny. Yeah, they want the entertainment. Yeah, man. Well, anyway, it's 8:30, man. I'll let you go. Thanks for coming on, man. Really appreciate it.
All right, man. Appreciate you having me. Anytime. sometime during the season or maybe sometime down the line, I'll do a show, invite all you guys, Miami Flow, 1K, everybody, man.
Awesome, man. So the people can find you at Hurricane T2Y is the name of your channel?
Yeah, Hurricane T2Y and Hurricane _T2Y on Instagram.
Awesome, man. And as always, you can follow me on the channel you're watching me right now at the Canes blog. Subscribe if you haven't already. Please hit the like button if you haven't already. And coming up right after me at 9 is the Canes Insight Show. So let everybody get a little break before that comes on so they can watch that. And yeah, man, good show. Again, thanks for being on, man. As always, go Canes. It's all about that.
Tighten up them hands.
Yeah, got to tighten that up. All right, man.
All right, man. Take it easy.
Take it easy, man. Have a good night.